Okay, so you know Justin Brown, right? Thundercat. Before that, Gerald Clayton, and a whole mess of people. Low-key, one of the heaviest drummers out there. For jazz, fusion, backbeat, whatever you need. But your boy here was hip to JV since way back. Since I saw him at Cleopatra's Needle with my friend Daisuke in 2000, who knows? And like a true hipster, after that, I was scouring the internet for any and all JB performances I could find. And one thing I came across was this, from Jos Vanhi-Terry, his little live jazz performance in what I think was LA. And it's got this hypnotic little groove. So I thought today, for a change of pace, we just break down this little groove and one or two of the transitional fills JB does. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Nate, and people call me the 80/20 drummer. Which is good because if I wasn't, they'd just call me the other Nate Smith. Yes, that's really my name. Anyway, on this channel we break down the drums. So let's get into this little Justin Brown. To the bat signal! And folks, today's video is brought to you by me, the 80/20 drummer. We're gonna throw a lot of beats and a lot of beat segments and fills at you, and you might be tempted to transcribe that. Trust me, you don't have to do it. We've done it for you. You can get that for free by clicking the link below the player and telling us where to send it. Now, on with the lesson. When I'm learning a new song, there's a fair bit of work I do before I even sit down at the drums. Let's go through it. This is a song by Jos Vanhi-Terry called Subversive. The first thing I'll try to identify is what the time signature is, if it's something tricky, and where one is. Listen for a couple bars and see if you figure out the meter. One thing I do is try to identify where the big beat is and see if some number of big beats loop back around to the one while I listen. Or if the time signature just loops away underneath me, in which case it's something more complicated. We don't have to overthink this. I'll just clap or snap on the big beat and we'll see if it loops around. Here, every time I snap one, the bass line is in the same place. That means the time signature isn't going to be something crazy with a 16 in the denominator. Now it's just a matter of counting the beats until it comes around. I'll do it again, counting out loud and snapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we have a meter, the next thing I like to do is try to figure out the bass line. Think about it. If you can already sing the bass line while you're snapping or clapping, you're gonna have a big advantage the next time you sit down at the drums. I'll spare you the loops, but here's me clapping or snapping along lightly and singing the bass line with the recording. Ready to hit the drums? To the drums! So you might think the first thing I do is transcribe the entire beat and learn it verbatim. And that's definitely a valid approach, but for my OCD brain, we're gonna do something different. Know how there are people who read the directions end to end before they fire up a new piece of gear, and people who just try to get the gist and then DIY it from there? Yeah. Anyway, now that I have the meter and bass line in mind, let's listen to what Justin's doing and try to build this beat piece by piece. The first thing I notice is Justin is playing offbeats with the lead hand. With zero other information save the bass line and meter, let's try to assemble something from what we've got. First, I'll just play quarters or eighths depending on where the pulse is with my right hand. Now, remember that bass line we sang? I'm going to try to play that on the drums underneath the constant beats I'm playing. I think that sounds pretty good. Now, let's try that Justin Brown offbeat thing. Because I happen to see JB is playing the hats on eighths, let's do that too. Okay, now we're playing something. Now, and only now, will I go back and listen to the particular melody Justin's playing between the kick and the snare. So we see that Justin's playing the snare on the upbeat, then he's phrasing around the bass line, so not literally playing everything bassist Junior Terry is playing. After some trial and error, we put it together. Let's try playing this with the recording. If you're following along at home, we have the transcription for free download if you want to click the player and tell us where to send it. But if you want to learn it quickly and thoroughly, I'd recommend you actually follow along with the video and take the steps I took, then use the transcription to check yourself. Now, this is just the beginning, of course. Now we want to let it cook and check out some of the cool embellishments Justin uses. But before we even do that, let's talk about an elephant in the room. Watch the musicians on stage as Justin is playing this groove. See what they're doing? Yeah, dancing. If you listen along, it's hard to keep from bobbing your head. You might even be making stank face, which comes out when something's a little complex but still slaps. Believe the academic term is nasty. And this is just as important as playing the right note. Nope, scratch that, it's actually way more important. So, how do we get this feel? In my opinion, beyond all the human elements that take years to learn, Justin is doing three crucial things. First, his internal beat is very consistently subdivided, but without being stiff. That means that even while the feel is loose and legato, the distance between any two sixteenths is pretty consistent. On the kit, I'll try to imitate a not-so-great drummer playing this. Then we'll cut to Justin. Hear how the distance between his notes is way more consistent? If I were learning this for a gig, or just trying to make my subdivision better, and something felt janky, I'd pull out Ye Olde Metronome. I'd either put it on sixteenths and just try to lock up, or I'd put it on 16th offbeats, which I like when I really need to drill in the feel. Okay, next. Locking up with the band. This is a matter of listening beyond the drums. First, obviously, I just played along with the recording. Then this is a little weird, but sometimes it helps me to actually reduce the volume on the recording or play it through the speakers in the room. That forces me to have to get my ears out of the kit. Finally, the third thing Justin is doing is playing with consistent tones and touch. This is another years-long process, but in the short term, pay attention with your sounds. When you're hitting the snare, are you hitting in the center? When you hit rim shots, are they clean and consistent? Is the relative volume of your kick drum, cymbals, and snare good? Obviously, feel is a much deeper subject, but those are some basics. Finally, let's explore some of the cool fills and transitions Justin does within this groove. The first is this. Now I'll play it on the kit. Then play it a little slower. To practice this, very simple. I just play the groove and practice throwing it in. You obviously want to get to a level where you're not thinking about it. So let's do one more embellishment. This is actually my favorite moment of the whole recording. So crisp. Here I am playing something like it. And now a little slower. Again, I'll just rehearse throwing this in until it feels natural.
And that's how you get the gig.
Disclaimer, we only learned one groove from the very beginning of this song. Obviously, the song has a melody, solos, a whole different section, and even a drum solo at the end. I'll link to the entire recording in the description and encourage you to check it out. Anyway, did we do a thing, you guys? Did you guys dig that throwback Justin Brown groove? Leave a comment below. And if you're tempted to transcribe any of the stuff from this lesson, remember you don't have to do it. We've done it for you. You can get that for free by clicking the link below the player and telling us where to send it. Dudes, it's been real. I always enjoy these. See you again real soon in another lesson of the week.